What's going on, guys, man? Welcome to the Gifted Exchange. I am Nehemiah. We got my boy Josh on the line. What's
You
up?
know.
You already got, so you got the boy Lloyd on the line.
What's happening?
All right, man. So look, before we get this video started, man, we're all life coaches. If you want to work with either one of us, man, our links will be in the description below for all our social media, websites, what have you. Follow us, like, comment, subscribe, turn on those notifications so you don't miss an episode, right? All right, I'm going to turn it over to Coach Lloyd, man. He's going to be your host for the day. What you got?
Oh, my bad. What's going on, everybody? How you doing?
Yes, sir.
First off, I want to say, hope y'all having a blessed day. You know, hoping everything's going well with y'all and the family, once again, throughout this pandemic or whatever. But I hope y'all checked out the last episode that was called Motivation Through What?
Adversity. Let's get it. We caught it. One of us caught
it. Exactly. Motivation through adversity. So if you haven't checked out that last episode, please go check it out. Give me some feedback. Let us know what you think, what's going on. So today we're going to be talking about something, something real good, a real nice topic. And this topic is called self-love.
Right. Self-love.
Do
you love yourself?
All right. There you go.
So we got a couple questions that we're gonna ask for you to ask yourself about self-love and how well do you know yourself, and not only the self-love, and kind of describe what love is to you, right? So first question, what is self-love? And my colleagues, my brother's gonna take y'all through. Let's go.
I'm gonna give it to Josh real quick, man. See what he got on this one. Go ahead and start us off.
So, what is self-love, in my opinion? There's so many things that come to mind, as far as in the aspect of love. First thing, you have to understand what love is, because you're only going to accept the love you identify with. So self-love is going to be the opportunity for forgiveness. It's going to be the opportunity for healing. Self-love is putting your best foot forward. It's caring for yourself as far as internally, externally, spiritually. So the conversations you have with yourself, the belief in yourself, the things you put in your body, what you consume, you only get one body, just like you only get one life. So I would say self-love is going to be the preservation of self in spirit, body, and mind. That's going to include forgiveness. That's going to include forgiveness. I don't know if I mentioned it. That's going to include forgiveness. It seems like we can forgive everybody else except ourselves for our past and for being human. So I was just going to say, knowing thyself first, knowing what love is by your definition, just like success, and then I say the ability of self-preservation to where you put your best foot forward and you create the life you want to live so you can become the best version of yourself. Well, come on, man. I know you got some heat.
I'm just gonna say, I guess a quick definition of what self-love is would be doing the things that are necessary to make sure that you are in a positive position in life. Even though the things that are necessary are not always the fun things, but doing the hard things in life that makes sense to make sure that you're in the best position for yourself, because it's called self-love. So short version.
Sweet. All right, so I always got to drop you out with the Webster Google definition. The definition says self-love regards to one's own well-being and happiness. Also, self-love means giving yourself what your body, brain, and soul needs for the marathon that is life. Basically,
let's go.
Right? Y'all hit that all in a nutshell. But Josh, I got a question for you, bro.
Hit me with it.
You said forgive yourself. That's a difficult thing, man.
It's difficult as you want to make it.
Right. Like what could we tell people how what type of advice could we give people who try to forgive themselves? And could we give an example of things we had to overcome to get, forgive ourselves for stuff we have done? You know what I'm saying?
Man,
yeah, okay.
that's a deep
So
one.
we want to throw it. Yeah, I was like, man, he just, just throw a
Yeah,
bucket of cold ice water on you.
out the
But good
gate,
thing I
he
won't
on
get
it.
fired. That's cool. That's cool. Okay. So, that's why he is Coach Lloyd. He asks a tough question. So I would say in this particular situation, if we want to, I'll start with the back half of your question as far as, a life situation that I had with myself. Growing up, the story, everybody, well, they're beginning to understand, just the circumstances I came from. So it's kind of like that thing where you're so used to lack, you're so used to having nothing, you're so used to having that poverty mindset that you never think that anything is going to be enough. So inadvertently, you don't think that you'll ever be enough. So you carry that baggage. So it's like, there's not going to be enough money. There's not going to be enough women. There's not going to be enough love. There's not going to be enough room for me. So you fight, kicking, you scratching, you're trying to get everything. So for me coming up, it was like food. It was like my self-worth. I allow others to let me know how much I was worth because I was coming from a lack mindset. I didn't think that I carried the statue or the title or the authority to determine my own worth based upon my circumstances. So one thing I struggle with, I could never seem to forgive myself for circumstances that weren't of my own doing. I was simply born into a situation, but I carried that around until probably my early 20s. And it was kind of like, I was very defeated. I lacked confidence. I lacked my self-worth. I allowed others to validate me, and without validating myself. And I mean, it was something I struggled with back and forth to forgive myself from things from my past, whether it was a relationship, whether it was a mistake, whether it was, simply being a dumb kid. They say young and dumb, whatever the case may be, things I've done. And I allowed those things to be weights instead of hurdles, to where I was gaining strength by overcoming them instead of just walking around carrying them on my back. So I would say in that regard, it was kind of hard to forgive myself because I felt like I would lose who I was or who I identified with who I was at the time, being that impoverished, overweight, black kid with the big nose that could only be funny because I didn't see myself as attractive. So in that regard, I had to forgive myself for believing that and not knowing the value that I carry in that regard. So that was one that I struggled with through my teens, which you already know. Being a teenager is hard in its own right. You don't even know who you are for the most part. And then it's like reaching that plateau or that point where it's like, yo, I'm pretty dope. I ain't trying, took my own horn or anything, but it's like, I'm a pretty good dude. And it's kind of like based upon, I define who I am. I define my success. I define, my looks. I define my personality and where I'm going. And realizing at that point that my trajectory was based upon my own determination. Nobody could take that from me. But I would say, I'm hoping that answers your question. I kind of went back to front on that life experience to, to how tough it was. And I do want to just clarify just before, the weight I felt was lifted when I finally got to that point that I was like, you're forgiven as far as to yourself. Like I cried. I was like, man, I didn't have a relationship with my father until I was like 19. And it was like, that's something that I wanted as a young man. I didn't have a positive relationship with many male figures outside of those that were, pouring into me from like the church or the community. And just that weight being lifted once I finally was like, it's okay to be you because you are becoming. Man, unbelievable feeling, that liberation.
Oh, man. Hey, man. Good. And, Favors?
Hey, so look, a few things comes down to forgiving yourself, right? So I'm gonna take you to a scripture first, right? So one thing that you have to kind of really keep in mind is to not single yourself out, right? That's gonna be one thing, because a lot of times what people do is like, man, don't nobody else go through this. I'm just the dumbest person in the world. I'm the one that made this mistake, and don't nobody else make these type of mistakes and all this stuff like that. You have people that even myself, you know what I'm saying? Probably in time, I've probably done that also myself, is try to single myself out and be like, dang, man, ain't nobody else going through this and stuff like that, right? But just a scripture, right? It's First Corinthians 10 and verse 13. It's just the beginning of the scripture. It says, there have no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man, right? So what it's talking about is everybody is going through something that somebody else is going through, right? And it's just like there's nothing new under the sun. A lot of people go through the same things that we have gone through. A lot of people have made the same mistakes that we have gone through. right? So you have to not really minimize yourself and really put yourself so, like, how do I say this? You just don't put yourself as the only person to be doing something that might be a mistake in your eyes. And also, you have to get away from words that, well, this is that inner voice, right? When you're talking to yourself, the conversation you have with yourself is you don't live in should, right? You do your best to not live in the word should. It's one of those things where I should have done this, right? I should have did it this way. I was like, bro, you got to chill. Like, you have to kind of like talk yourself through this. Like, did I understand what I was going through at this moment in time, right? Did I have the experience and the knowledge that I have now to be able to overcome this in a better manner, right? Even if you did, right? First, let me address that is you have to give yourself some slack. You have to have compassion and love for yourself, right? The same way you forgive and give other people room to mess up, you have to give yourself room to mess up. So this is forgiveness, right? So living in should is something that we have to really, really, really watch how we talk to ourselves. All right, so basically, really just try not to live in should. All right, forgive yourself. Give yourself room to make mistakes because you are human. We're going to make mistakes. Being a perfectionist and being in a I'm not good enough state, right? With that state of mind where you see a ladder, and every time you reach that mark where you want to be, it's like, dang, the ladder gets longer. You don't do that to yourself. All right, give yourself room to mess up. Forgiveness.
And y'all both made some awesome points. It's definitely like you said, man. You got to be able to speak life. Not only you try to speak like to other people, but also you got to speak those words unto yourself. Because if a lot of times you can just be down on yourself, like, man, I'm sorry, man. I ain't gonna be able to do this. I ain't gonna be able to do that, man. Like I don't amount to nothing, man. I ain't doing that right now. So that's how it sometimes goes. I had another question. But I think I forgot it, y'all. I had another question that it was
Okay.
a real. Okay. I know y'all was saying we was talking about commitment. Not what you were saying about started off saying first Nehemiah.
First Corinthians.
Yeah. Okay. Oh
Okay.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say this
Okay.
right here. So how like when you going through things with battling with yourself, how can you get help? Like, what type of help do you kind of refer to? Or
As far as with,
like
what do you mean? What do you
every
mean by
as far as like everybody's battling something within themselves. You know what I'm
that?
saying? And you just said nothing new up under the sun. So how do a person get to the point where they can be able to share? Like, man, I want to share something with Josh. But I don't know, man. I don't know if Josh gonna. I don't know if I can trust Josh. I don't know if I can, you know, and he won't express my feelings towards him, and he won't look at me in any type of way.
There was something an old man taught me, right? I'm gonna tell you something. It was dope because he was talking about you have to when dealing with people, right, in relationships and stuff like that, or any type of relationship,
Mm-hmm.
you have to leave yourself open for hurt, right? You have to take this state of mind. You have to take the state of mind of you have to be able to forgive people, right, and love people enough to be like, people are. It's a part of the game. It's a part of the game. When having a relationship with anybody, right, at some point in time, they might do something that you don't like. It goes against what you may believe or anything like that, and you have to not take stuff so personal. Okay, you have to give people room to kind of step on your toes a little bit. It's just a part of the game. So you kind of got to take that approach, right? You kind of have to know that it's just a part of it, and then it's gonna hurt for a little second. If it does happen, it's gonna hurt for a second, but you will live and you will get over it. But biblically, right, it's gonna talk about when you trying to do something, before you make a move, man, you gotta attain up to wise counsel, right? I might be paraphrasing a little bit, but you all understand what I'm talking about, right? The people that have gone through the things that you have gone through and have successfully success, even people that haven't successfully completed something, they still can tell you how to get over something, because it's like, dang, looking back at this, man, if I would have really just followed it this way, then that would have worked out right? Because there's other people's lives that mimic or mirror the successful path. And it's like, if I would have just followed what somebody else did, then bam, that was it. But two things, keep in mind that it's a part of, you're gonna get hurt at some point in time. So you have to be able to forgive people, and you're just gonna have to kind of go through the process. It's like lifting weights, bro. You're gonna have to hurt yourself a little bit in order to gain a little bit of something, right? It's a sacrifice. In getting better, there's a sacrifice involved into it, right? So you got to trust somebody. You have to.
Right.
Got to take that leap.
Guys, anything on that?
I mean, I think he's putting much pressure on that, man. Like, I don't know like it at anything except what he said at the end. Like, the only way to reach new limits is to push the ones you got or the ones you believe you have. You got to break down the build. I mean, like I said, he crushed it. And I mean, to the old guy, that was wisdom, if nothing else.
Right, bro. And like you said, man, once you're able to trust somebody and stuff like that, or people are able to trust you, that's when they open up a little bit more than what expected. And so I know we said what is self-love. So what is love?
Man, what is love? 1 Corinthians. Y'all gonna hear me talk about the Bible a lot, right? I'm gonna say this. Y'all gonna hear me talk about the Bible a lot, because this is, dealing with me, right? And I've learned this, like in NLP, right? There's something called an anchor, right? It's a neuro-linguistic programming, right? There's something called an anchor, right? And with this anchor allows you to go to a happy place. So this term where, think of your happy place. So when bad situations come up in your life, there's a thought or something that can trigger a happy feeling to bring you back to a positive state of mind, right? So with this also has something to do with core values. I know I might be talking about something different, but listen to what I'm saying, right? So this is I use because of my faith, right? Because of my standards in life. The Bible is it for me, right? My purpose in life is to live for God. This is me, right? So this is where most of my standards come from. So I'm gonna talk about the Bible a lot, right? But what is love?
Trust in God.
Okay, there we go, right? In God, right? Because He's Almighty, right? But 1 Corinthians chapter 13, boy, oh boy. So we're talking about what is love. If I really took you through that, it's talking about love is patient, love is kind, love it beareth all things, it suffers long, right? It's something that it does not give up when things are tough, right? Love is the strongest force in the world. Love is stronger than death, right? That's what it's saying.
Have you been through something? Have you been through something throughout life that you had to still, it was kind of hard for you to, you kind of struggle with loving at that time? At that time, was it hard for you? But then, at that moment, was it kind of hard for you? And then later on, you showed that unconditional love. God's love is unconditional, so,
Dealing with people that I would call my friends, that has been a very big test for me in certain times, because sometimes you feel like you give. So I'm a person that if you check my commitment level, right? We had a thing called commit. We was talking about this earlier with committing and commitment, right? Yeah. But when I am committed to a person, right? When I say I love you, I love you. All right. So I'm gonna give of my substance. What I silver and gold have I none, right? But such as I have, give I thee. Right. So what I'm saying is if I have it, I'm gonna give it to you, right? But what I had to learn about love is it's not always given back, right, in the way that we expect it. Okay, so one thing I had to learn about love is everybody's different. Everybody might not be where you are when it comes down to love, and might not view love the way we view love, right? The things like something when we give something like, dang, right? A lot of times we give it because we are expecting it back. People say you shouldn't do that, but that's not true, right? Because everybody that gives out love expects love to be given back to them, right? It's a relationship. So I've had to learn that, even though this person is not giving me the love that I require or the love that I desire back, that doesn't mean I can stop loving them. That doesn't mean that I can stop giving them the love that they need, because my purpose is to love. That's what that's what we're supposed to do. You're supposed to love unconditionally. Jesus, he called Judas friend. I want you to listen to me. The person that betrayed him, I'm gonna stop preaching, right? But the person, the person that betrayed him, right? You realize that he called him friend, and the lesson in that, bro, is like he's still finna die for you, even though you're going to go get this man killed. You're finna go give him up, but he's still gonna call you friend, and he's still gonna give you of his substance. Stephen, when he was being stoned, right, was talking about, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Listen to the love in that. This man was being killed, and he was asking God, don't do nothing to him. Forgive. That's love, bro. And it's like when something's not given back to you, that's when I say hard thing, that's a hard thing to deal with when it comes down to friends or relationships and stuff, because we
And
have expectations.
that's true, man, because some people can just be straight nasty with you, man, and really don't care
I
nothing
mean,
about you.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
Like
I'm listening.
Oh no!
like
I was just putting that
Ah,
in. I was just putting that out in the air. I was just saying, like, some people can be straight nasty with you, and you still
yeah,
show that love towards them. But of
yeah.
course, some people just mean and want to mistreat you.
It was I was on a job, right? I was on a job. I was the PTD, right? Personal training director over a gym, right? And there was this guy. I used to work for him over at another gym, so they took us over to another gym, right? Because we was awesome at sales together, right? We was knocking it out. We hit a record, right? But before the day before this happened, right, God has showed me that this person was going to do something to me, right? So what I did was, even after things had settled, like, and this person, they talk about you behind their back. For a fact they talking about you behind your back, right? And you still, hey, they ask you for some money, right, to go eat. It's like, bro, I ain't got no money. Here, I got you. Let me give you this money. But I said, hey man, look, let me take you to lunch also. Not telling you, not boasting about what I did, but it's like, people, like, they're gonna be mean and nasty to you, but your job,
Right?
bro, it's like you have to give it back. It's not about what
You got to
people.
show love, bro.
Yeah, you have to show love. Like, look, 1K Few was like, it's a
Show
song.
love.
It's like, yeah, there we go. Show love, that right there, right?
Show
1K Few.
love.
Let's
Show
say,
love.
yeah, that's it. The 1K. Yeah, my
Hey,
God.
real talk. That's true.
Yeah.
Hey, man, and that's one when you really have true friends,
Mm-hmm.
when you make a stand and you tell them, like, I got a few friends that I had made this stand, and once I had made that stand, I at that moment at first I thought they weren't gonna be my friends, but um, hey, they still my friends, some of my best friends to this day. So during that time, it was like, oh, when I had told them, it was like, hey man, I ain't trying to do this, right? Do this no more and that no more. And they respected it. They were just like, oh, I got you, bro. Didn't hit me up for nothing that was close to even
Sustaining.
similar
Yeah.
to what it was.
Yeah.
But they still remained my friends through that. So I was like, that is like a worth of unconditional love of being a friend to someone too. Josh?
I was just enjoying it. Man, y'all hit some tough spots there. I would just say, as far as based on the original question, when you spoke about, like what is love, and how something I alluded to earlier is like your understanding of love is going to be how you receive or perceive love. So,
Right.
I mean, it's like with anything in life, it's going to be as levels to it. I mean, a child loves their parents unconditionally in some cases, and conditionally in other cases. You didn't give me any candy, so I don't love you, as they understand love. Or the child that's being abused in many different ways will still fight to be with the parent because they love the parent, whether it's based on substance, whether it's based on the bond, whether it's based on you protected me, even if you've harmed me. So I would just say, in the same regard as, understanding love, and I mean, if you take it to the love languages, or you believe in what they call divine love, which is agape love, which is unconditional love, which means it doesn't matter whether you love me back. It doesn't matter if you steal from me. It doesn't matter if you spit on me. It doesn't matter if you sell me out for a certain number of silver and, you lead me to my death. I understand that you're fulfilling your purpose in that regard. And what we do is we activate on things that we understand. A mentor told me, those that teach are those that have mastered something, meaning you mastered it to a point that you can teach it to someone else. So I would say, what is love? It can be in any aspect of me taking care of you. Whereas I love my children, whether they love me back or not. I love them enough to chastise them. I love them enough to redirect them. But I also love them enough to give them gifts, to feed them, to clothe them, to spend time with them, which is my most precious resource. So a lot of people can't do the self-love gig because they don't understand the weight of spending time with self, of knowing self, the value in it, and how it can improve the quality of life. So I would just say, if I would want to be loved, not to be loved like a thing, not to be loved like money for what I could get from you, not to be in a parasitic relationship to where they're just sucking the life out of you. It's a one-sided thing. You get nothing in return.
Right.
I want it to be a bond. I want it to be something like what we did when we came together, and how we're uniquely different, but at the same time, we had the same goal. We saw a gap. And so I would encourage anybody that's watching this, that if you're trying to find yourself, or you're trying to find love in yourself, you need to only look in the mirror. What do you value? I do this exercise sometimes with individuals about love or value. And I say, if I hold up $100 bill, how many want it? Hands go up. If I fold the dollar bill and I step on it, how many want it? Hands still go up.
Right.
If I take it and I put it underneath a plant that's a potted plant, how many still want it? Hands are still in the air. And so I tell you, is loving self enough to take the journey? And I'll say this one thing, since we're here in Georgia, I would say, if we were to place anybody watching this in this state or somewhere in your country, and I'm going to give you a distance of 500 miles. This is, if you've seen a more recent video by the dynamic speaker, Eric Thomas, he says that Booker T. Washington walked 500 miles to get an opportunity. I want you to listen to that verbiage, the opportunity for education. And this education that I'm speaking about is going to be learning yourself enough to love you. So how much do you value you? If I told you there was a briefcase with $1 million and only your DNA could open it, don't seem that far anymore, does it? And I'll pass it to you, Lloyd. What's next?
Hey, some people gonna be starting walking tonight, bro.
Yeah.
Priority. Water. Hey, what do you value?
Exactly.
Full of snacks.
I just want to say this too. God is love. Let's say that one more time.
Amen.
God is love. And also, another thing, according to the Bible, says, love thy neighbor as you love thyself. If you love yourself, and if you love yourself, and if you follow by those rules, you're going to treat somebody like you want to be treated. Just like your parents used to say back in the day, treat others as you would like to be treated. That means show love and respect to them all the time. If you don't want to be disrespected, don't let you know what I'm saying, you don't do that to nobody. Josh, did you say whatever you put out? One of y'all said whatever you put out, you give back.
Some people call it karma.
Oh. Yeah, that too. But I was gonna say, Nehemiah was speaking on love about whenever you put back love, that's what it comes back out.
Absolutely.
That type of feedback. All right, so this leads to our next question. Question number 2. What do you already love about yourself? So these we referring to question to ask yourself, like, what do you already love about yourself?
Man. Coach Lloyd, start me off, man. Come on, start me off, Coach Lloyd.
What do I love about myself, man? Yeah.
Ain't that so? Ain't that so?
Right.
Look at him being modest.
Hey, but one thing I do love about myself, well, of course I adapt that from my parents down. Definitely the morals and respect standpoint. And I really could say that that really made me who I am today, as far as like, believing and trusting in God and for the most part, doing the right things. I ain't gonna say I ain't did not bad now, but as far as like doing the right things, have helped me, overcome a lot of stuff that kept me out of trouble and stuff like that. So I love that part about me, about sticking to my morals and stuff like that. Sometimes I have different friends, like they can already say like, oh Lord, he don't partake in this or he don't partake in that, which is really good for me, and it make me feel, it do give me a little bit of confidence more too. And I do like the fact that what I like about myself, that I'm friendly and I have a caring heart for people. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, I think as I got a little bit older, I got a little, I ain't gonna say it's too soft, but you know what I'm saying, every now and then I might cry because my heart just sometimes go out to different people who have different experiences and stuff like that.
Gentleness.
And, right.
There we go.
So, hey, so you already know, if you see me up at the church, man, I might be booed.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with it.
But not only the church, but man, I could hear a story about a kid or something like that. Sometimes I cry like that, but it's my for me, caring and the passion, showing empathy and my passion for trying to help others and stuff like that. That can really sometimes get to me to a certain point, I guess. Anybody else want to take on? Anything you love about yourself?
I guess I can say this.
Hey, besides our looks,
Yeah, hey, look. Let me stop. Look. I thought about saying that, but I was like, look, he a narcissist. Well, I was thinking about that. I don't want to be no narcissist, but
You gonna say we doing superficial? Is that what's going on?
Look, nah, but I like glory to God, but I like what God has given me, gifts wise, talents wise, the heart to help and really build people up. That is one of the greatest things I love about myself. My talents, my gifts, and different things like that, man. So some things I love about myself. Something simple.
That's great.
So does that mean it's my turn? That's what's
hey, if you want to.
Go ahead to school, J. Cole.
It's all good. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to be humble on here. Say anything about myself. I'm just gonna post a question. That's when anybody that may be watching this, and it's like what I want to ask you to, with your certifications, with your experience in the field, and those different things and things you've seen, just drawing from those experiences. I would say, what is it that you would tell somebody that's unable to identify something that they like about themselves when they're in the search, if you will? To my NF fans out there, the song. the search, finding self.
Can I
Finding
take this
something
one?
you like.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was gonna say that I
Look,
yield the floor
look,
to you.
I see
look.
Josh said the search like enough, so But go ahead, Nehemiah, take it over.
Look, man, love. I mean, accept yourself, bro. Look, so let me tell you about this. All right, I grew up. I'm from the south side of Atlanta. Right, I'm from
Outside.
South side, right? But so that's our hood or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like you would hear it in the old, well, it's not, I don't even know if even new school rap you talking about it, but the old school rap, you know what I'm saying, the 2000s or you know what I'm saying, you talking about them rap, that era, right? So I grew up on the south side, but I am I'm an intellectual, right? So I like video games, I like tech, I like anime, right? I like just what people would classify as nerdy and stuff like that. But I would suppress that part of myself, right? Because I didn't I wanted people to accept me, right? But I wasn't even accepting myself. It's some stuff that you like that you won't tell nobody that you like because you feel like somebody gonna call you stupid. Right? I mean, that's a lot of us go through that. A lot of us, if all you have to do is like, you really got to sit down and be like, bro, the stuff that I've always wanted to do and really tried that I thought that I was gonna get judged about, man, I'm finna go do this, bro. Like I went on this, I had never eaten ramen before in my life, right? Besides top ramen, right? I want you to hear it, right? It was 2017, 2018, right? And I said, you know what? I'm gonna go on this crusade. Hey, look, I'm serious, bro. Like I'm grown, and I'm watch anime and play. I watch all this stuff, and it's like I want to try this, right? You think about this, I want to try this, but you never try it, right? But I went on this crusade, right, for myself. I went on this for myself. It was a self-love thing, because I said, you know what, bro, I'm finna just start eating a whole bunch of different food, right? I started exploring. I started going to Thai restaurants. I think I haven't had Korean yet. I just started eating a bunch of different foods and stuff. I started eating sushi. I like sushi. You know what I'm saying?
Sushi.
Like, but look,
Right.
everybody, but listening to where I'm coming from, it's like, there we go. Sorry, all sushi is, you know what I'm saying? Hey, sushi's good, but but the the point I'm trying to say is you have to really accept yourself and the things that you like. Don't let other people's perceptions of things that you like bring you down, bro. Like, love what you love. Love that you like what you love. You understand what I'm saying? Like, accept yourself first. When you learn to accept yourself, then you can start to really explore and stuff like that. Like, you really have to explore. Just if you have to do it by yourself, go do it by yourself. I will go to a restaurant, like, bruh, it's some new food I want to try. Never tried this. I'll go sit at a restaurant by myself with my tablet and my phone, playing video games and eating ramen by myself, right? But that's because I've accepted myself and the things that come with me and what I like. Start to do that, bro. Go just go visit stuff. Go do stuff. All right, y'all got it.
Hey, like Lecrae said, man. Lecrae mentioned said, if you live for people acceptance, you'll die from their rejection. You know what I'm saying?
Come on with it.
And just to kind of like a little example, just not just yourself. Just think about as you start dating, right? The first girl you talk to and she tell you no, that'd be like heartbreaking, right?
Yeah.
So they say once you get over that first no, then it's like clockwork. Like if anybody ever say no to you again, you'd be like, okay, I accept it. You know what I'm saying? They said no, got to move on. But until you get, so that rejection don't be good. That's just like with a job. You get rejected with a job or something like that, and they tell you no, it's not good at that time. But you just gotta accept it. Like, hey, man, God got something better in store for me right now. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to mention that little comment.
So,
good question, Josh. Oh, my bad.
So taking the point of the thought pattern of God has something better for me, basically learning how to accept rejection, and take it for what it is and not let it get you down, basically.
Right.
There we go. Learn to accept no. It's okay to receive a no. Okay?
Say what?
It's okay.
Say what?
Hey, I've been in sales for the last 5 years. The last 5 years. I want you to hear me. I have received like thousands of no's. You understand what I'm saying? But it's okay. It's a numbers. Everybody, you have to realize that everybody's not going to like what you like. Everybody doesn't have a common bond with you. Some people gonna like what you like, other people won't. You just have to accept them. Like there are gonna be people on this earth that's gonna like the things that you like and gonna do the things that you do. It's okay. Just accept a no. Be patient. It'll come.
So let me ask this then, if I may. There's a lot to unpack there, just for what y'all was saying in that regard. But since the last thing we were talking about was sales, what would you say is more important? Is it the 10,000 no's or the 1,000 yeses?
What you mean by that? What you mean?
When you're finding yourself, is it about going out and, like you said, trying things and then finding out you may or you may not like them, or going after those things? It's almost, I'll rephrase the question. Is it about being accepted about the community that you came up in, or is it about the community that shares like interests? What's more important? With identifying things that you like. I like ramen. I loved anime before I realized it was anime. They just said it was Japanese cartoons. But then I found out, there's different types of anime. And I mean, I wanted to try ramen. And, like you said, growing up in the way we did, it wasn't accepted in our community. Just like being in touch with your emotions. In some cases, that's going to be hazardous to your survival in certain ways.
Man, Josh trying to start up another episode already.
Is it I made 1,000 sales, or is it that I got 10,000 no's? Is it that I tried 11,000 things to find out who I was, and now I'm fulfilled in my purpose? I love myself enough with those 1,000 yeses. But the thing is, people miss the mountain climb where I had to go through 10,000 no's to get to that 1,000 yeses. So I'm like, again, 500 miles, $1 million, or is it worth going through the pain of unlearning and relearning, or going through the rejection, is the word that you use, of finding out who you are, who you truly are, not who you were constructed to be by those around you, but like who God meant you to be. Like, I'll just say it like this, just before y'all, come back with the answer. I was having this dynamic conversation, or listening to this dynamic testimony, right? And what was explained was, I don't want nothing that God don't want me to have. Now I want that to marinate for about, let's get a good 10 seconds. And I mean, for those that may be looking at this that don't believe, whatever it is that you believe in, I don't want anything that God don't want me to have. I really want you to just let that marinate. Because again, this is you removing self. That agape love that we talked about earlier. That divine love, that unconditional. When you take self, feeling what I want out of it. I want to be loved back. I want the job. I want her to say yes. I want my child to love me. But when you take self and what we need, and it's about love, because at the end of the day, you used the word earlier, commitment. It's really about commitment. You spoke about Judas. Right. Judas fulfilled his purpose. And when you understand purpose, I can still love Judas because he was going to be who he was going to be. And my job was to fulfill it in the cross. So when I remove me and my feelings, then that's when I begin to identify with who I am, and I can love myself. Because I'm going to love my flaws. I'm going to love my mistakes. I'm going to love my stumbling blocks. I'm going to love that I love ramen. I'm going to love that I love Christ. I'm going to love that I'm not accepted by a community that was never meant to accept me, because then I'm imperfect. And my commitment is to that purpose, to my inheritance. My commitment means whether I feel like it or not, whether my body feels like it or not. Martin Luther King. Right. Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi, whoever you want to insert there in that, whatever that example for you is, it wasn't about that. So when you can remove what you believe is self, your precept, your concept, your construct, the thing that you built. My thing was fat, dark skin, big nose. He can't see. All he can be is funny. He's not that athletic, and he's a black male. This is detriment. I don't have that extra muscle in my legs, so I don't jump as high. My shots don't go in. I can't play the bass that well. These stereotypical things that's associated with this group of people, I felt I didn't belong. Because like you said, I was an intellectual. I enjoyed reading the dictionary because I weaponized my language because I wasn't that athletic. I couldn't run faster than you, but if I was smarter than you.
I could read better.
But instead of embracing my community and being who I was, which what I began to believe when I began to love myself, my piece was just as important as Nehemiah's, as Coach Lloyd, as anybody watching this. So I say when it comes down, what are you committed to? That's going to help you identify love. That's going to help you identify self. And that's going to be the beginning path of your purpose. And once you win purpose, baby, woo, I'm telling you,
hey,
self-love goes through the roof.
Right. And like you said, man, commitment is doing with your whole heart when you do it wholeheartedly. Now, if you're doing anything with your heart, man, you're going to put your all into it, bro. You're going to put
love
your
conquers all, man. It can't fail. He said it, 1 Corinthians, 13th chapter. Love never faileth. Never. Even if it looked like failure, it's not failure.
Right.
He looked like he failed when he went to the cross, but he did exactly what he was supposed to do. So when she left you, when he left you, when the child happened, when the rape happened, when whatever happened, when you cut yourself, when the suicidal thoughts, I want you to understand. I want you to understand.
Let's get it.
Just because it looks like it. Just because it looked like it.
I see you, boy.
A caterpillar look like a fat worm, don't it? Until it go in the cocoon and become what it's supposed to be. You see what I'm saying? Pollen look like a pestilence, but without it, the world would cease. The foundation looks like the weakest part because there's nothing on it, right? But it holds everything up. Your self-love is that foundation. Come on, see, y'all done got me hot. Y'all
hey, let you go on. Do your thing. Do your thing.
I'm just saying. Self-love.
I don't even know if I
caught up with the sconces and the windows and the chimney lights and the way my grass looks. When your foundation is the basic thing. So y'all finna have me start quoting stuff. I ain't even finna, you know what I mean? Don't build your house.
Get them.
That's all I'm saying.
Get them. Get them. Come on.
Just make sure. And understand, just like you said when you go to the gym, tear it down. And I really want these two gentlemen that I'm talking to, because I want you to understand the dynamic of the group that you're listening to. When you tear the structure down of who you thought you were, whether it was inferior or whatever your mistakes were, whatever somebody put you on a pedestal, do you understand that people will build you up just to tear you down? That's what they're here for. They will put you on a pedestal. You're the smartest. You're the most attractive. You're this, because they want to attack you.
Narcissist.
Thank you.
You said who you are.
If you don't know what a narcissist is, please Google is a very powerful thing. Use the internet. They will build you up, but I want you to understand when you know who you are, you in the same regard, it is no failure. There's only lessons. I can tell you that you're ugly, and you would have more pity for me because I don't know who I am. Because who takes time out of their day to tell somebody else that they don't look attractive?
Right.
It's deep. It's deep.
No, knowing who you are, bro.
Whew, come on, say that. That's real. Say that. When you standing in your power, when you standing in who you are, when you are accomplishing self-love, I can write you a 6-step plan. I can write you a 10-step plan, but I promise you, when you walk into your inheritance, when you believe who you are,
exactly, bro.
You know who you are. I can't tell you.
Bro.
You operate different.
Somebody said, look, somebody press that fire button. He on fire right now.
No. Keep going, bro.
The same thing I tell these guys every time we talk. And I know the brilliance that they have. When you know something, you move different.
Right.
You never question your breath. However long you've been watching this podcast, however long you've known us individually, whatever work you follow, whoever you follow, when you're breathing while you're watching that video or listening to that podcast or driving your vehicle or bathing your baby or eating your food, you never question the next breath. And now imagine if you operated in your life that way. When you in your purpose, when you loving yourself, when you loving your community, when you know that you're doing what you were put here to do, you don't question it and you move different. You act different. You talk different. You believe different. You act different. You feel like you have a power. You have a zeal. It bends to your will. You have to adopt that mindset.
Watch it,
So
bro.
I can't say you're ugly. I can't say you're fat. I can't say you're unsuccessful.
Right.
Step into it, man. I'm done. I gotta get off.
Hey, like Eric
Well,
Thomas,
how do y'all feel about it?
like Eric Thomas said, man, you ought to look in. Like Eric Thomas was explaining to that class that time he was speaking to the classroom, and he had to ask himself, "Would the real Eric Thomas stand up?"
There we go.
So at this time, as you watching the video, I'm asking you to look into the mirror and ask, "Would the real you stand up?" Not anybody who said you was gonna be this, who people think you are. The real you. Man, NF said this. Josh, you probably heard it. He said, "The real you is who you are when nobody is watching." How deep is that? You could be a whole lot of stuff in front of people, but when nobody watching you, what you doing? Let that marinate, y'all.
Take off your mask. Take off your mask. If you want self-love, take off your mask. Take off the thing that you've been hiding. Take off the garment. Take off the popularity. Take off the status. Take off the money. The facade.
Hey, take
it off.
Take off the player card who they said you was back in the day.
You see what I'm saying? Your inferiority complex, take it off. You actually scared. You actually worried. You think that's a badge, take it off. If you can't be real with you, you can't be real with nobody else.
Right.
And if I'm lying, I'm flying, and I ain't on Delta either.
Nehemiah, you got anything to say, bro?
Hey.
It's not supposed to be comfortable. It's not supposed to be comfortable. This is real.
Real life, man.
And I tell you, I feel like I can speak for the other two gentlemen on this. We don't do this for fun. This is a call and this is real. We're trying to help somebody, but I can't help you if I ain't honest with you. Oh, right. Josh, you're being so hard on me. Sometimes you need a kick in the short. It ain't all sunshine and rainbows. You think the woman holding the baby after she give birth feels the best? It's the greatest moment in her life.
Oh, no.
She's holding life, but just like that new you, there's gonna be some birth pains. It's gonna hurt. Man. You're gonna lose some friends or what you thought was friends.
Time out. You gonna what? Lose who? Friends?
You're gonna lose some friends.
Hey, but we've been friends. We've been friends 20 years ago. For 20
years. They gotta
years.
do anything. A branch been on the tree for 100 years. When it dead, it fall off, don't it? It ain't meant for the next step. It ain't meant to go any further than that. And you gotta watch it. That's why people are always looking up in the tree. They ain't looking down. What's always there? Them roots. The roots hold you up.
Hey, so you telling me sometimes I'm gonna have to walk alone?
What you talking about? We said the greatest thing to ever walk across the face of the earth did that, didn't it? And they still spat on it. They still beat it. But what did he say earlier? Love conquers all. Though you kill me with your words, throwing stones.
Oh, you
but slay me. I know not what they do.
Yes, sir. Come on.
They know not what they do.
Right.
Even standing on that stage, come down off that cross. And he could have called it. And many of us would have, because I got the power and I'm going to show you. But his purpose was greater.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
What is your purpose? Again, what is self-love worth to you? I'm in Georgia. If they told me my purpose was in Cali, why would I still be on this podcast? I see the value. But a lot of people don't see the value. So how can you love yourself if you don't see value? He said, look in the mirror.
Who are you?
He said, look in the mirror. Who are you? When you look in the mirror, who do you see? What do you see? Do you see the thing that your daddy told you never was going to be? Do you see the thing that your mama said you just like your daddy? Do you see that he left you? Do you see that she left you? Do you see that you didn't do what the family does? What is it? It's so many people dealing with so many things. And I know you understand. You see this every day, right?
Sure. Right.
But I can't give you something that ain't in your bag. I couldn't give confidence before I had confidence.
Right.
I could talk about it. I could give you the Webster's Dictionary, what they said about confidence. People can't give you what they don't understand. But how do I find it? Well, you contact somebody like one of the people on this podcast.
There we go.
I'm looking for something.
Plug.
I'm looking for an opportunity to become a better person.
Gifted exchange, y'all. Check it out.
Please. And the only thing I say to say this, man, there's people out here that want to help you. There's programs out here that want to help you.
Exactly.
I done been suicidal because I didn't have self-love. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know my self-worth. I've looked for it in other things, whether it was in other people, whether it was in vices. Some people look at a bottle, somebody looks at a woman or a man. Or
Right, bro. Right.
Or even people look at fitness. If I get these muscles, you set these impossible goals. But as he said before, if you're constantly living for the applause of other people, and I don't want to make it seem like that's light. Finding self-love is a journey.
It is. My bad. Go ahead.
You good? No, I mean it is. It's just like your heartbeat, up and down. You're gonna have good days, but it's like we forget to be human.
Boy, yeah, that's a serious thing.
And like you said, bro, when finding self-love and finding out who you are, like you said, you have to be committed. Then you got to be able to forgive yourself, as we mentioned earlier on in the conversation. But then after you do that, what you do? You take your power back.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? You got to get your power back. Once you get your power back, hey, prime example, I'm plugging in with Craig again. He got an album coming out called Restoration. What does restoration mean?
To rebuild, to restore.
Exactly. So, man, let me chill out. So, when you take your power, when you get your power back, you talking about restoration. Hey, you feel mighty. I'm trying to think of a better example too. Well, it's kind of self-explanatory, but taking this example, like, say you were struggling with something, and now it don't bother you no more. Like it used to get to you all the time, and then now the Lord can bless you and allows you to defeat that desire or whatever you had, that you can take your power back and be strong and move forward with it. Nehemiah, you want to add something?
No, say that one more time. I want you to say the exact thing one more time, because I kind of got lost.
Oh, I was saying
what you were saying. What you say?
I was saying, say that you are defeated, you were desiring something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you end up, and it used to get the best of you, right? So you end up defeating it. So guess what? You take your power, you give it, God bless you to get your power back. So then it's like restoration. So you back and you ready for the fight. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Ready to take on whatever that may be going on.
Okay.
So, y'all see that the time is near.
How much time we got?
I think we about that time limit. What you looking at, Josh?
Where we at, Josh?
I got about 10 minutes.
10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Okay, so we got to hit with a 10. We're gonna get one more question in. What rules or conditions can you release to love yourself even more?
You said what rules can you release?
Yeah, what rules or conditions can you release to love yourself even more? I just say this.
I was about to hit you with it. Come on, what you got?
I was just gonna say this. Not settling, bro. Not settling for nothing not settling for nothing less than what you deserve. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna hit me with?
I was gonna kind of go into a core beliefs type situation.
Okay.
Something that you can release, right? Releasing the perception or the let me say.
Oh, hold on. If you release it, does it come back?
Not if you don't let it. Not if you're not. That's what I'm about to say. That's what I'm about to say. Hey, because right, it's a you want to. This is like a reestablishing, right, for yourself, basically, like releasing the. It's not a. I guess it's a stigma or the. It's not perception, man. I'm trying to think of the word, but it's a negative perception of what other people put upon you. It's like growing up with your parents or something like that, right? Or it's growing up in a household that's very abusive, that's verbally abusive, right? It's not very nurturing. They don't really build you up or anything like that, man. You got to release a lot of things. If you're like I think Josh was talking about, if your father left you, if your mother left you, a lot of people, a lot of children grow up becoming a perfectionist to the point where it's like, man, I'm not good enough. Why did they leave me? Right. And they grow up with this thing where they can never be good enough in anything. They can never do enough. You have to release those type of thought patterns, right? The feeling of I'm not good enough. All right. And you have to really build upon you have to really reestablish or renew your values about yourself. Right. So really it's you have to basically line up some different things for yourself. Well, you have to like really start to build a new platform. So mine is biblical, right? The things that I'm supposed to be and stuff like that, all of my standards come from God. Like the things that he says that a man should be, those are the things that I value. Though that's how I built myself, not upon the ways or the thought patterns or the decisions or the ideals that my parents or the people before them or the streets or just the community or the world think that I should be. I'm going to live up to the standards that God wants me to be. So that was it.
Smooth, man. It's real smooth. Gotcha.
I was just gonna say, I mean, he pretty much hit on it. Just release any limiting beliefs you have for yourself.
There we go.
Whatever you believe you are, or whatever limit you think you have, just release those. Reach beyond them. Just surprise yourself.
Can we think of some type of ways or activity that you can do to kind of release anything that you're kind of dealing with? What type of stuff do we do to kind of release some stuff that we may have been dealing with? I know sometimes I like going to a park and stuff and just, that give me time to just think a little bit. A walk through the park, well, most like a walk through the park by the lake and just have time to just kind of sit down and just release everything that was, I may have been dealing with. Just like in life coaching, how they say meditation. If you do 15 minutes of meditation each day, it's pretty good or whatever. And they'll help you out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I was just saying, like, what can help you release some stress or some doubt that you don't feel about yourself? Oh yeah, praying.
There we go.
Praying and as we mentioned in the other episodes, talking to other people. You know what I'm saying? Like we all mentioned earlier too. You're not alone on some of this stuff. A lot of people have went through stuff that you went through and overcame, but you definitely have to ask. What NF say about asking? I forgot what he said, but he was like, how you supposed to know the answer if you don't ask the question? So if you don't ask the question, how you gonna ever know the answer? So you got to be willing to, and don't be afraid to ask, questions, even when it's dealing with yourself and trying to find who you
are. Another thing that I have to do, or one thing that I've learned, is basically looking back at all the things that you have accomplished, right? When those negative thought patterns come up in your life where you feel like you failed, and things not going right and different things like that, realizing all the things that you have done successfully, right? You have to really think about those things and just draw the confidence or the self-esteem from those things, because there's probably a lot of things that you have accomplished in your life that are really great feats, but that one moment in time, that doesn't, you got to realize that that doesn't define who you are, because there's a lot of things that you failed at, right? But it's a lot of things that you have accomplished. So you have to draw upon the good things and not dwell on the negative things, right? So always look back at the things that you have done and keep moving forward. Don't let that one moment in time be your defining moment, not the failures, but the success.
So what y'all know about that? I am.
Those affirmations.
There we go.
Right.
That's it.
Hey,
I mean, that's a good one. Affirmations, writing. I'm big on imagery, so it's
write
like
it on the
you
wall,
write something
man.
down. Exactly.
And
Or
post
one
it on
thing, maybe for my pyromaniacs, this may not be a healthy exercise, but
Come on.
writing those things down and imagery, your mind, you tie emotion to an image. And I have an exercise called Burn the Box. And it's basically, it comes like the first part of the exercise is the table of limitation. And you're basically taking all the words off of the table that are like, I can't, I will not, like you're saying, the I am, which you're identifying with. And at the end, I am possible is what's left on the table. And what you do is you take those things, you put them in this box, then you light the box on fire. So the imagery in your mind is you're seeing, you're feeling the heat from the flames. But what you're doing is you're burning the box. You're burning the limiting things. You're burning all those things that you say, I can't. And all that's left is I am possible, whatever that is. So I would just say in those, the power of writing a thing down, not only the physical act of it, but what it does to your brain to see those things. I would say that, like you said, on top of prayer, on top of meditation, on top of some type of vice. Some people go fishing, some people do exercise. Some people go and paint. Just whatever's going to allow you to vent and release. I think are some things that are healthy, just for a longer, wider spectrum.
Yeah. And make sure when you vent to a good person.
Yes, I was going to say a healthy vent.
Right.
That is paramount that we say that. Do not vent to somebody who'll give you some bad advice.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. So I think we're gonna kind of wrap this up, guys. And I want you all everybody to hit them with, one last thing that they can go home, take home with.
You gonna lead us off, Coach? Or?
I was gonna let Nehemiah lead us off. He looked like he ready.
Have faith in God. You have to make sure that you establish not just your own set of values, right, but the right set of values, right, and that helps determine your framework for your life, the way you perceive and the way you perceive yourself. You really have to have a really great, or I'm gonna say godly, right? Because y'all know who I am, right? So I'm gonna say godly. Make sure your standards are from the right source. I'm gonna put it like that. And mine's come from, Jesus Christ, God, right? Those are my sources, right? So those things I know for a fact will make you whole. Okay. Establish new beliefs about yourself. Let your outlook be from that and not anything else. That is something you can take with you.
All right. Sound good to me, bro. All right, we're gonna let Joshua Coleman finish last. So you thought I was gonna say you next, right? But I was just gonna say, like Nehemiah said, definitely trust in God and try to find out who you are. If you're at home, create a list of things that you like, the different questions, like what do you currently love about yourself? What the stuff that you're trying to work towards and improve on. And write down your self-definition of self-love. Like they said, self-love is loving yourself, but it's not only that, it's taking care of your personal hygiene too. You know what I'm saying? If you make sure you look presentable, that's self-love, making sure you look presentable at all times for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just different other things, and I know this probably will be a continued episode, but we're gonna pass it to Joshua.
All right. Everything that I've heard, and the thing that resonates with me most as far as with this subject, the greatest outcomes come from the smallest task, the smallest accomplishments. Simply getting up out of your bed and saying, I love you, I forgive you. It seems like a small act, but the result, the outcome is far greater. Remember, the largest trees grow from some of the smallest seeds.
Right.
That's that timer.
That's it. So
Hey,
I'll just
declare who you are.
Plant the seed.
Coach Lloyd said, declare who you are.
Oh yeah, declare who you are, man. Every morning say, I am, I know I am.
There we go.
I know I am awesome, man. Okay, so you speak it, like they say, words have power.
Absolutely.
Right. So I think we need to continue episode. We got some more questions.
Hey, definitely. I mean, go ahead, Coach Lloyd. Go ahead, Coach Lloyd. What you got?
Do we need to continue with another episode?
Episode 3 coming up.
Yes.
Talking about self-love. Yeah. You already know. Hey, look,
man,
part 2 coming soon.
Man.
You feel me?
Hey, part 2 coming soon. Y'all better stay tuned, watch for real. Hey,
episode 3.
Go ahead. Oh yeah, my bad. Episode 3 and get it right. See how that's good to have brothers. Look at I said episode 2. Look at it. But yeah.
I was gonna say, just before we get out of here, definitely like this video, subscribe. If you're listening to this on Anchor, if you're on Apple Music, if this is on Spotify, definitely give us a like, follow us. We just want to make sure we hear from you, so drop a comment. If you're catching this link on Facebook, please go ahead and subscribe to the Gifted Exchange fan page. We definitely take your feedback. There's going to be a number of polls. We got a lot of different things working in the background, but again, like, click, subscribe. Go ahead and follow our social media. It'll be dropped in the description below. We definitely want to make sure, hey, those thumbs up, I know you don't think they do, but when you hit a thumbs up, it allows somebody else to see the video. Like this, again, share this. Give us your feedback. We're here for you. What do you want to hear? Self-love is something heavy, it's something near and dear to us, but we definitely want to hear from you. So again, like, click, subscribe, turn on your notifications. If you're on any other application that you're hearing this, please give us a follow, fill out any surveys, give us a boost. We love you. We appreciate you. Anything else, gentlemen?
One more thing. If you would like to work with one of us, right? Even if it's not collaboratively, of course, we're going to work together. We're going to talk about, we're going to get together, we're going to help you all out. But individually, if you want to work with us, of course, he said the social media, but our websites and what have you will be in the description box below. Are you ready to work? Let's get it.
Hey, they get it. Hey, stay tuned. Next episode is coming.
Hey man, who are we though? Who are we? We are the
Gifted
Exchange. Let's go. All right, man. Peace. We out.